Hi.
Hi.
I'm
Hello.
I'm just being with you for a moment in this,
Yeah.
now that we've hit record. Hmm.
Mm. Yeah, it was
Thank
nice
you for being
checking.
here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you. Thank you. Thank you.
you. Yeah.
I I don't think that any introduction I could do would do you any justice. So
Girl.
I what would you like people to know about you?
Hi. Hello. Nice to meet you. Well, my name is Yeradmi and I go by Jera. I am a Afro-Latina woman of Taino descent, Caribbean descent. And I am someone who is very passionate about healing in all the ways. Yeah, personally, collectively, and community. Yeah, my whole thing is healing through connection. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Of all of the things that you could do, right?
Yeah.
Um, what, well, no, hold on. I want to ask, yes, I want to know why, but I think maybe the deeper question is, it feels like, especially if you're on social media, they're like everybody's interested in healing and everybody's like, you know, considering themselves an expert on diagnosing and and talking about family and trauma and triggers and glimmers, and like we hear all of this language and we watch people talk about healing and healing practices. And so I guess maybe the deeper question is not why, but what does that mean for you? Or what does that look like for real, for real? Because I know that you embody this work fully.
Thank you, Ashley. That really means a lot coming from you. Um, I always say that we are each other's mirrors, and whenever another person, and usually it's women that will say like a lot of words, I always will reflect back that the only way that you're able to see that within myself is because it exists within you. And that was a teaching that I received very early on in my discovery of different ways of associating or being, moving through the world. And my teacher, and I'm going to bring her in, Bethany Canton, back then when I was at Exhale, when I met Amy Leiden, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, many moons ago. And I was like, what are you doing? I don't understand what is happening within me. And what are you doing? And she was like, honey, and in this very, you already know, in this very like at the end of a class kind of vibe, like the only reason that you're able to feel and connect and see me is because all of what you're describing is within yourself.
Wow.
And that just like my heart, my mind, my body, I feel it right now. I feel a lot of tingles as I say that. It's a knowing, it's a deep, deep reflection. And to answer your question, for me, healing is like an organization of all the parts of who we are in this body that we have, this one body that we are given, and being able to understand that so many things coexist as a human being, right? We are multifaceted. And yes, we are out here in this planet, right? Like on this planet doing the thing, we're mothering, we're working, just being. And there is a greater like there's a greater purpose, right? Like it's not just we're not just doing this thing by ourselves, right? And so in order to coexist within ourselves and all the parts of who we are and with everyone else, because everything in life is a relationship, right? How can I be at peace within everything that is coexisting?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really, It's really, well, it's profound because um it's sometimes difficult to find peace within when you're coexisting because you have no control over anything that's happening outside of yourself, right? And I saw something online that was that have you heard of it's called the empty boat mindset?
Hmm, maybe.
Maybe.
Is it like a boat in water with and it's like all blue and dark?
No, there were no colors. There were no colors. But I do want to know what you're talking about.
Oh knows.
It was like, okay, so I hope I get the story right because I saved it, but I haven't talked about it yet. But this monk is meditating in a boat on the water, and
Mhm.
another boat hits his boat. And
Okay.
before he even opens his eyes, he's kind of like, I can't believe somebody would run into my boat. Can't they see that I'm here meditating, right? So then he opens his eyes and he sees that nobody's in the boat. It was a boat that got loose from the dock and floated towards him and bumped into him. And he realized, well, I might as well not be angry because you can't be angry at like this empty boat. And the whole thing was kind of like that's it's we assume that the things that happen maybe to us have negative intent behind them, that somebody is always messing with us, that somebody exists just to annoy us or take us off our game or whatever. But a lot of times it's just like it's an empty boat. Like it just happens, and you are supposed to be sort of centering yourself and like kind of learning how to let that shit go. And I'm reading this thing and I'm cracking up because I am not the person who lets it go. I am the person who's like, you did this on purpose because you hate me and now I hate you back. And
Mm,
so what you said resonates because that is, I think, like part of what I'm working on or part of my healing is this practice of coming back to, I think, my true nature, my true self, which is joy, which is love, which is peace.
mhm,
And somehow along the way, I unlearned that that is my true nature, right?
mm. Yeah, there's this process of remembering, which is another aspect of healing. And
No,
yeah,
go. What
I'm
were you gonna say?
yeah. So we're both mothers to young boys,
Yeah,
and I can't believe they haven't met yet, which is like a
I
whole
know,
other.
I know.
And we have seen the process of like the conceiving, the growing, the birthing, the and then the evolution of these pure beings, like the absolute
Yeah.
of I feel it everywhere in my body, right? Like they
Mhm.
are children, infants are the most connected to the divine that we have as human beings to witness. And for those of us that are choosing to mother and to do this and to bring them forward and to bring them here to this, what's happening right now in this specific moment, and to see what all of the values and the qualities that you just described, that's their essence. And now it's like, oh yeah, everything that happens from then on out, it's just all this like, I'm going to put myself in this box and in this one and in this one. And this is how I'm going to feel safe in this world. And this is how, because if I say F you or like, don't talk to me when that empty boat is around me, I'm ready. I'm ready to, do the
Exactly.
thing. And that over and over and over again causes so much separation and in turn suffering
Right.
and disconnection.
And you do notice it through your children. You know, it is like like you said, a mirror. It's a mirror that no adult has been able to give me thus far, right? but also the responsibility of having the self-awareness of knowing these things that I'm hoping to heal within myself and just being aware of what I'm passing on and knowing that it's not going to be perfect,
Right. It's not the point.
but right, like but also knowing that my relationship with Zion and my relationship with myself is going to color how he respects himself, how he respects women, how like the kinds of partners he looks for, like all kinds of things. So there's so many things swirling for me when I look at him and when I look at, who I am in the world in relation to him,
Mhm.
that is it's a a good motivating factor, if I could call it that. I don't know if I should be using it as motivation, but I feel like, bitch, you got to keep going. Like you cannot let this go.
Yeah.
Where does your doula work fit in with all of this, with healing, with
Yeah.
somatic practices? What does that look like?
Yeah. Thank you for asking. I trust in the way that for each of us and in my life experience how following the nudges throughout my early adulthood and how I nannied forever for, more, I have like, I don't even know, 20 years in my
Oh,
bag of nannying and being with all kinds of families, that could afford, right? Like
right.
a full-time, well-paid person to take care for their humans. And so and just the dedication, this one specific family that I got to see such a beautiful part of their um parenting, and also for the children, and how they just a lot of my inspiration as a mother is because of this particular family and this mother. And so I had all of that experience, and then the healing work was very much like, oh yeah, this is like ride or die for me. I'm either gonna like learn this work, or I don't know how I'm gonna exist
Okay.
and and be a human. So it was kind of like, it was just, it was very clear. And so once I gave birth at the very beginning of the pandemic, the very beginning, I was like, oh, yeah, this is also life or death. And very much so, like a very clear knowing. I had a very um, challenging experience postpartum. And this is probably what wanted to come through. Yeah,
Mhm.
very challenging experience at around the 4 month mark. And I didn't have people around me that knew how to emotionally attune to what I was experiencing as a new mother. Yeah. And it caused a lot of suffering. Yeah.
How did you how did you move forward?
What you mentioned earlier, where it was like, oh, game fucking on kind of vibe, like
Yeah.
very like, oh, okay, so if I am going to grow and evolve and move forward from this experience, my entire life has to change again,
Again.
for the whoever, however many times it has changed already. Yeah. And now I have a human that I love more than myself at that time, right? That I am here to protect. And when Mama Jeda arrived, I was like, bet. Yeah. And
And
I think, yeah, yeah,
I don't want to I don't
you
want
can.
to push past how hard that had to be, right? Like we can say 5 years later, I was like game on, right? but like I have full body chills because picking yourself up out of the depths, it's especially during that time when everything is so out of control and your hormones and this and that, like it's literally it's we talk about like a lot of I don't know, sort of, I guess, disruptions to mental health is like things that are happening in the brain. But like when you're postpartum, it's your brain, it's your body. Then there's a pandemic where there's just things you just don't even have access to, even if you wanted them. And so, like, to pull yourself up through that is
My
not
initial,
something. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. And now I'm here for these people, these women, these birthing people that are just, um, yeah, are in need of someone that knows and recognizes and that can connect with this very simple idea that simple, maybe not easy, right? Because we are seeing what's happening, that whatever the mother needs during this time is what the mother needs, right? How,
amen. Amen.
how are the children going to be well if the mother is not well? And that creates that's a whole podcast and it's a whole episode, it's a whole PhD actually of
Yeah, yeah.
hello.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I will say here that I am here for the children 1000 1,000,000%, and they all the families know this. And my priority is mother, because when we are pregnant and we're carrying and we're moving through the process, how are you, how you feeling, all the things every day, what do you and then baby's here and it's like baby and what is that and what is baby boo? Oh my god, so cute, and the smells and the clothes and the all the lists of the things that we ask for and buy and celebrate and all this stuff, and then mom is over here struggling, most likely in silence.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is okay, the house is going to be perfect, the food, the hello.
Yep.
Oh, it's not perfect. This is a time where everything has shifted. And one thing I always also mention is that the greatest, and we've seen this in so many ways online, the greatest drop hormonally that a human being can ever experience is after childbirth.
And yet
That
the support is so scarce.
so what do we think is going to happen? What are we seeing that is happening? So yeah, this is like big deep for me, like real ancestral, like
Mm,
deep calling. I know I can't do it alone, kind of
right,
calling. And it's also connected because if I didn't have the training that I've had for, I always say for 37 years, but for 15 solid, like really in it, exploration of myself
right.
and the organization of everything that transpired, a lot of mess, a lot of trauma, a lot of uncertainty, and the whole part of not being able to control. And then it was like full circle moment, I had to endure that and move through it. And then it was like my worlds emerge in such a beautiful way, because then when I arrive into these spaces at the hospital, and these in people's homes, it's just I'm bringing all that forward and it's felt, and so it's I'm really grateful that I get to serve in this way.
Right. It is service. 100%. How long did it take you? I'm asking this specifically for anyone who might be listening who finds themselves like deep in the mess and
Mhm.
not knowing when they're going to come out or what it might look like, or maybe they have an ideal in their head of what they want it to look like, but it seems like it's so far away. How do we, hmm, I guess the right word is maybe heal. How do we heal, or how do we look at integrating the parts? Or I don't want to put too many boundaries around the question, but I think you kind of know where I'm getting at. Like, how do you navigate that?
Yeah. And this is where it can be a little messy, and where we're going to be given and shown like what what to it's like what is the priority in the moment, right?
Mm,
Because if there's so many things we and for me, I understand that everything is connected, and so where is the where's the disconnection happening in your life? Where do you feel the most disconnected? Is it when you have a disagreement with someone you love and you're not able to vocalize it, and you numb in a certain way and you avoid it? Is it when you feel rejected at work, with friends, or in any kind of capacity?
mm,
Is it sleep? Are you not sleeping? Are you able to digest your food well? Like, there's so many signs, right? Our bodies are continuously sharing and um, giving us all these different cues of like the state that we are in. And yes, it is about mental health for sure. And that is deeply connected to, and all the ways to, what the body is experiencing. And that
mm,
our outer world, I know this is you know, can go a lot of ways, but the way that we are moving through our experience is going to show us like, where is it that I need to organize some shit?
yeah, that's what's so hard. I think not. I think do I want to say this? So when I was doing a lot more corporate workshops around allyship specifically, people were like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, give me the action steps,
Yeah.
right? And like it's it's like I would give them things to think about, anything from, you can think about how it is you're voting. You can think about how it is you're spending your money, where you're spending your money. You can think about, the conversations when you're with your family at Thanksgiving, like disrupting things that are harmful or whatever. And they'd be like, no, no, really, like, what are the action steps? And it's like, damn it, I just told you, right? Like people think, going back to your original point, that there's like something that they don't have. It's like you already have the tools inside of you. You already know the tools. Like, you just want something different because the actual answer might be too difficult, or it's something that you don't want to face, or it's something, but like, right? Like, if you, I'm gonna go with sleep because this is something that like I had to get over my bullshit. If you are complaining about not sleeping, but you're on your phone, you're watching TV, you're eating in bed, you're eating right before bed, you're drinking too much wine before bed, you're getting into fights with whatever. Like, of course you're not fucking sleeping.
I'm laughing, but it's because
It
it feels obvious, right? Like,
feels obvious.
work, and that's the difficult part because
Yes,
it's a letting go
exactly.
of what has felt familial and safe,
Yes,
right? Comfort and what we know and what has helped us in parts where in different times of our lives where we didn't have like the capacity to even look at what was disorganized, right? Like it's like, yes, I am going to turn to all the things you just said
right.
because absolutely that's the only way I'm going to be out here doing
Hmm.
the and coexisting, right?
Exactly.
It's what is keeping me safe. And so after the conditions, right, change and that you're in a space where you can and you're able to, and which I think probably a lot of people that are listening to this and tuning into this are most likely at a place where like there's a little bit more capacity and space to kind of
Yeah.
deep start to unwind and look at what's really here. um it's not easy because it's easier said than done. Oh yeah, follow these 10 steps and then you oh check my
Yeah,
it's like
you do it.
that's a whole other thing is like, oh, I'm just going to do this list and then whatever. No,
Exactly.
it's a deep listening, right? Because individually my experience and what I've moved through and how my body is showing me what I need to look at, right? And my experience and the people around me and the relationships and the situations that I'm in are showing me if everything is a mirror, if everything is here to support this evolution that is, right? Like these trees, this the ecosystem, it just is, right? There's like a knowing to that.
Right.
In the same way, we are an extension of that. And the further away we are from that in all the ways that we adapt, then it's step by step because there's, we have to build in somatic experiencing. It's like, there's like a titration process where you can't do too much at once because then everything is just gonna,
Right.
and it might mean that like that's what needs to happen. In my case, I've had many real serious breakdowns and hospitalizations even and big things that I it was so much at once, and because no one around me understood what I have moved through, because either it wasn't shared as a child, it wasn't expressed. I didn't even remember until a certain point when I started exploring my body and moving through the world and coming to yoga and movement, and I didn't get that as a child. And
Right.
so as all these parts of me are like, ooh, the remembering,
Hmm.
yeah, it's a huge, it sometimes is a huge fucking explosion
Right.
and shit can get really serious. So this work is, it is important, and I think something to note during this time when there's so many experts on the internet, quote
Hmm.
unquote, the real work of our like the real work of creating this connection within ourselves and within our lives, it happens in real time in the flesh, like, in outside, in the human connection, in the hugs, in the crying, in the feeling. It doesn't happen here. This is all like, what is it, right? Like we're here. It's absolutely an amazing tool, and we already know we do this, and there's a loop happening mentally to it, and um there's all these different reactions that are happening. So we're in this loop of being connected to the internet and thinking that we're like receiving, but we really aren't, right? Like, yes, of course we're gonna find the things that we love. I love laughing on TikTok for a while and being like, oh my god, and just
Right.
the connections that we find on there. It absolutely is a tool, and it's in the real in real life that it needs to happen, and the communities and the people that are around you, and
Right.
the people you're choosing to be around, to share, to talk, to connect with. It's the connection piece.
Right. Right. And
This is all extra. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's where you learn too. Like, this is my big thing right now, or one of my big things right now is you're never alone, right? Like your story is not unique. You know what I mean? And it's like unique, but it's not unique, right? There's somebody else, and I encounter this all the time. Somebody else who's experienced what I've experienced in some way, right? And um and so like, but if I don't allow myself to open up and talk to people and be in real life with people and stuff, then I never know that. And then I continue to, it just like it's like a false comfort. And and I can sit in shame, and I can sit in this like, like I'm the only one who has gone through this. Nobody understands me. Nobody knows what I'm going through. But that's not true. It's never true.
Or
And, like, yeah, I just agree we have to be relational. And also, sometimes like I also don't want to be because I'm too fucking relational. Like
well,
this is my
yeah,
struggle
yes.
of
Well,
the
and
push-pull.
yeah, and the self-study is just as important.
Yeah.
And the because the not being able to be alone and have a good time. I love myself a good time by myself, let me tell you.
Ooh, speak on it.
Okay? Because I don't under yes, I understand, but it's just my way of like
Yeah.
expressing the way I love being just out here and doing what I do. Are you kidding me? There's like not enough hours in the day because there's and then the joy that comes from it because it's also interconnected
Yes.
and the learning ourselves. There's just this like, oh yeah, I'm not alone. And what I have a whole manifesto, and I think it's either number one or what number, I don't know. But it's we are never alone.
You're never alone.
And we haven't even touched upon the what's, just all the resources that we have available to us,
Mhm.
right? Resources that don't require money, that don't
Yeah.
truly, right? Like that are just here for us. The remembering piece, and then it's like, wow, I get to explore, I get to write, I get to hug a tree. I get to put my feet in the soil, like I get to eat this amazing food that from these local farms. Like, what a gift. And then gratitude is such a huge part of 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 the connection piece, of the healing part.
Right.
There's no matter what is happening, gratitude is just, it has to be at top in the top values, because otherwise what are we doing? Because
Right.
suffering, we can all be suffering all day every day. And I just know that we were not meant to like put on this planet at the specific time to be out here suffering
Right.
at every hour of the day, right? So, and suffering can mean, you know pain. It can mean a lot of different things that are coming up, right, that don't feel in alignment with who we
Right.
are.
Right.
And the joy that we're able to experience. And that's the thing. Once we're able to give ourselves the space and the resources and the time, the what it is that we need when we need it in different ways, it's going to be different seasons of our lives, and where we live, all the things. And that we create space to feel what is present in this moment and in the next moment, right? We're going to do other things. And then when we come back to like, I really need to tend to my heart, to what's here, and process and cry and feel and emote, then I have so much more within myself to be with the joy and connect with
Yeah.
amazing people like the one in front of me right now. Like, I kiss myself all the time. I literally kiss one of my friends kisses her shoulders, and I'm like, we are doing the damn thing. Not perfectly, not the point. My life is not, no, it's just that it's not, the point is not perfection.
Right.
The point is to feel what we're feeling, and to also be able to be steady within ourselves, to feel connected to ourselves and one another. And then whatever the message, whatever the dharma, the passion, the creativity, the the things that we need to do to move the needle a
Mhm.
little bit forward, right? It keeps going back to the name of this freaking podcast. Then that's where we're called to be. But we can't go there if we're not tending to hello, our home. It's just like, and our, I could keep going about it because I'm
Yes.
saying the same thing in many different ways, but it's like how the all the things that we already know. Yeah, we have
You
to
have to
start.
trust. You have to trust that you're going to be okay. There's a fly in my house.
Oh,
Because sometimes it can feel, and I've heard this from many a clients, right? That like they don't trust that they have enough scaffolding to
mm,
hold themselves in their emotions, in their, like they don't have the time or the space to cry, to emote, to fully feel. And if you can't fully feel grief or sadness, you definitely can't fully feel joy, right? So
go
so
hand
you're
in
kind of just in this middle place of not fully being able to access all that you're able to access, which is such a shame given how short our lives actually are. Even when they're long, they're short. And you don't even know if you're going to get to the long part. You might not.
girl. It has felt long for me and many times, and I'm just like very long. I am so excited to be an elder. Like when I tell you aging, it's like a whole thing that I want to share because I am obsessed with, I am not obsessed, but I just am so in awe of that I get to age. And yes, comes with a lot of suffering, right? Because now it's like our parents are dying and people in our lives, and we're gonna see that more and more, and just
Yeah,
everything that comes with aging, but also, and like it just, there's so much here. I'm so glad I get to be this version of myself now. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
like I couldn't be here and who I am now in my 20-year-old self, or there was no way. I was so lost. I was just like, what is happening?
right.
Yeah. And we all come to this at different times, right? Like one thing I will say, like one step at a time, right? Like if this feels very exciting for you or like really far away or really like that's not, I don't know, whatever the thing is coming up for you right now, just it's one pause at a time, right? And then like how do we just the next step, like what is that? Is it to drink a glass of water, right? Like water for me, I don't, no matter where I am, I'm gonna get, thankfully, which is a humongous privilege to have access to clean water, because without it we don't survive.
Yep,
Teacher Allison Sinatra is always speaking about the water, and just that one small reminder can shift your entire day.
yeah,
And if water is the one resource you have today, then water is the one resource you have today, period. Because that in and of itself is a huge blessing and gift.
right.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, I can drink a glass of water. Maybe I need a shower and like magnesium and like some salt and whatever. Maybe, or like, a bath, right? Like, or maybe I just have access to the shower, or maybe there's so many things, right? We know the list. We know the things that we can, sunlight, the sleeping and
Hmm.
the eating well, right? Of course. The just at the desk, at the wherever you're at is just like, how am I even just sitting right now? How am I, what's happening? Hi, hello, thank you. I don't
Yeah,
know. A moment in the mirror, like, you're amazing. You're here today.
it can be that small.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it is it small, right?
But it's not, right? Yeah,
That's
it's
what we
not.
talked in the
But it
beginning. When
seems.
yeah. And in the beginning, when I was given, I did 6,000 million cleanses because I was like, you know, that's
Mhm.
my way. That was my way. Okay. Not anybody else's. My way. It could be a lot of people's, but my way. One of the things I signed up for so much stuff, and like I could talk more about the story, whatever. But there was one challenge I had from a teacher, a mentor at the time, many, many years ago. And it was like, what is it like for you to look in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself? Ooh, every day. Look at the breath. Yeah, nice breath. What's
Thank
happening?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, because again, it starts here and then we can expand from there. And it's a continuous thing where we're going through seasons, just like nature.
right.
We're like, woo, and then we're like, ooh.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's like, it's just different seasons, and different seasons require different parts of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a good, just such a, it's just so grounding to to be in a wellness centered conversation where you do not have to buy a product to fix you. You do not have to spend lots of money or even necessarily lots of time, right? Like you do not need to buy whatever that's going to lower your cortisol. You do not need to, like, whatever it is.
It's not going to do shit for you if you can't sleep at night,
Right.
because
Right.
that thing is not going to actually get to the root cause.
Exactly. Exactly.
There's something that I wanted to share before, because I know we're coming
Yeah.
at
Please
the
do.
end. I literally was like, message of the day, and I just right before we came on, and I just want to it's I had a feeling, of course, that it was going to be perfect. And so it says everything is connected. As Einstein urges, we must discard the story of separation, in quotes, and adopt the quote unquote story of interbeing. We need systems thinking leaders who can remind everyone that we're all in this together. I often ask clients to have their polarized parts come together to talk directly to one another. The first question I have the client ask each part is whether they have anything in common. Each part is often shocked to learn that they share the desire to keep the person safe, but their ideas about how to do that are totally different. With the realization that they are interconnected, they become committed to working together better for the well being of the larger system, the client they both inhabit. Likewise, helping people in families, companies, countries, and internationally realize their interconnectedness brings forth the capital S self at each of those levels, and the capital S self always brings healing. Meadows reminds us of how we are all interconnected. No part of the human race is separate either from other human beings or from the global ecosystem. If the planet's climate collapses, everyone will suffer, even the rich. If the workers in a company are overstressed, the company will fail and the owners will go bankrupt. If you are dominated by your brain and neglect the rest of your body, you will get sick and your brain will go down with the ship. Having a huge, poor population either drains most of the country's resources or creates violent social upheaval. If you exile your vulnerable parts, they will destroy you. Yeah. Yeah. And I know it sounds like a lot. I'm just going to wrap up here, but making the paradigm shift doesn't actually require huge sacrifices or suffering. It can be painful to retrieve parts of yourself that you left in the dust, but the effort is more than worth it. Here's just a taste of what you have to gain: more love for yourself and others, more access to your inner joy and delight, as well as to your rich sadness and grief, and more meaningful habits and activities with a sense of fulfilling vision. Yeah. So big breath.
Mhm. Wow. What is that from?
This is No Bad Parts
Um,
by Richard Schwartz. Yeah. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
it like an IFS?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And yeah, it's very interconnected to somatic experiencing. I mean, it's all related. So
Wow.
And this was actually, you know, who put me on to this? A patient of mine. I lead groups as part of the integrative therapy team at a hospital. It's a treatment center for people with eating disorders. And one of my patients in the like maybe spring of this year had this book, and I was like, oh yeah, that's the I've been wanting to read that, and I yeah, so they ordered it for me, and
Oh,
yeah. Anywho, so many
yeah.
resources. Thank you.
Do you have a final something that you would want to leave with our listeners?
Mm, yeah, I this shifting gears right now into the fall very soon, and just in whatever season you are in your life as you're tuning into this. I there's so much that I want to say and nothing at all. The part of us that is um, wanting the lists and the scrolling for hours and the that is curious, like that part of us is there for a reason, and it's an invitation, and there's no wrong way of doing this, right? If you're tuning into a conversation like this, like you're on your path. You're never not on your path. And divine timing is divine timing. And the world wasn't created in a day, as my grandfather would always say, right? And so, pa'lante, as he would always say, forward, literally.
That, 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 that.
Mm, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's gonna stay with me all day
Mm-hmm.
and beyond
Yeah.
and beyond.
Yeah, you're doing something with this, let me tell you. Yeah, I'm really proud of you. Congratulations. Yeah, thank you
Appreciate
for
you.
tuning.
Thank you for coming in and sharing with
Mm-hmm.
me, with us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.